What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Gmias World, and a lot of you guys are probably wondering what's been going on with Madden 22 Ultimate Team, the strategy card situation, everything that's been happening as far as Most Feared. When it first started, it was a pretty cool idea, and then from that, it turned into a lot of other things that many of the users just don't really like. So what's happening is this: EA probably is going to make this Madden 22 experience for you a little bit different. It's going to change forever, in my opinion, because if they're not able to isolate what's going on with these strategy cards, it could be a very, very huge nightmare. So we're going to go over some of the things that are going on. A lot of you guys were running around doing Weekend League with these, Towering Terror strategy cards and just being weird, just adding height and just running around being extra tall and fast and just ridiculous. Me, myself, I couldn't make myself do it because it was something that wasn't intended to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like this, right? EA didn't want to have it in head-to-head, and every game I played in Weekend League, there was a 19-foot Cam Chancellor. But for me to do that for like a temporary time, it doesn't add like a dimension to the game where it's fun. It just makes it really ridiculous, and you just hate everybody involved. So I didn't want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let me run around with a 95-foot, Derrick Henry and something like that. It was weird, but this is what the interesting thing is, right? EA Sports, they understand that no matter what they say, what they do is always usually a little bit different. For instance, we were told that this would not be able to be used in head-to-head. And the same day that that was said, dudes are running around using the boost in head-to-head. So what does that mean going forward? That means a couple things. If you have that strategy card equipped in your actual lineup, you may be able to get away with some type of faulty upgrade throughout the year, unless EA Sports just goes crazy and do what they did before and nullifies the entire slot. So for those of you guys that don't know what's going on, know what's going on. The strategy program, this one right here, for instance, the ultimate kickoff, a lot of you guys that run around with Sean Taylor, you got boosted speed from using Sean Taylor even when the promo was over, because they just left it active. Because it is left active, it's going to still generally give you the boost. Many of you believe that EA is going to continue to do that. I don't believe that that will happen, because I believe a lot of the community would just go crazy and it's going to be a maximum rage situation, and it probably wouldn't make much sense for them to continue that, keep it going on, because the complaints will be from those players also that are not really good. And generally the average, person that doesn't really play Madden, their influence is heavy, which is why the game is so bum friendly. It's a situation with the coding where you can't really, blow someone out. The game is always close. You'll drop a pick. Next gen stats. It's a lot of weird stuff that we've been a part of as an experiment with the game. But with this situation right here, it's very, very unique, because although I'm using the card art for Cam Chancellor, I have no intention of doing anything else. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Certain cards got the different card art, and you can actually equip it if you want it, but you don't need to use it. You know what I'm saying? I just put it on him because it's for, it looks better and it's glowing and it's doing all that stuff. But a lot of you guys are running around with a 6'8 Cam Chancellor and just doing anything you want. Like a 6'8 chin, like it was just really, really wild. And if that were to be glitched into the game, I think it could make for a very, very interesting year. But again, somehow, some way, they're going to make sure it doesn't happen, because the outrage is going to be a lot more ridiculous than they're willing to deal with. But I think what happened is they doubled down on it, because pretty much once they were shown that they couldn't really stop, the users from doing it, they just made it for everybody. Like, yeah, go ahead and do this, but you're only going to get this amount of boost, so you're only going to get that, which generally created a situation where it was in Weekend League, it was in head-to-head, and it became very, very annoying. Because one of the unique things that you guys may have noticed, height actually matters. The reason that I'm pointing that out for this time right now is because Harold Carmichael usually, well, not usually, but in the past, he was a scary tall player. If you notice what they did, they didn't really give us any player that was too big, offensively or defensively. They're stopping it around like that Brandon Marshall, Plaxico Burress thing, because a 6'8 Harold Carmichael right now, because the game is generally, it's something that I've been arguing about with, with just letting my voice be heard about it. It's been so fake over the last 3 or 4 years that it's unattainable. Like, the height does not matter. You got a 4'5" guy picking dudes off. EA actually listened to that aspect. So if Carmichael is in the game, one-on-ones, you may be dominant. Especially with me, with the Gmias streak. Some of you guys may just throw it up on a post and it'll get wild, but for me, I know exactly what needs to be done to actually moss your brains in. So if you look at everything that's going on, DK Metcalf, a 6'3 guy, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of guys, but they're not over 6'3". Except for the limited, like I said, Brandon Marshall, Plaxico Burress was a legend release. EA has been very, very smart. Randy Moss, 6'4". His card actually is really, really bad. And, you know, Rob Gronkowski, he's a tight end, so the speed is not there. So just having the height at 6'6" doesn't really matter. The problem is Harold Carmichael obviously is a wide receiver. So with the strategy cards, you would have to give him decent height. EA was very, very careful to not do that this year, because they understand the type of game that they've created, and they just want to be very, very careful with it. So this whole most feared situation, this is what probably is going to happen, and I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of it. They're probably going to suspend that strategy segment just because they have to figure out how to make sure that it's not in the game, because this is what could happen. You don't have to have the height factor, but you can cheat with the strength and the other stuff. And I think that a lot of you guys realized over the weekend that if you have a lot of strength on these players, especially on the offensive line, they just hold blocks. Like, they literally just hold blocks and it goes crazy. So I'm just showing you, you know, pretty much letting you understand the way that the game is going to be going forward. They're probably going to have to make a move with that, because the more that I think about it, because Ultimate Kickoff is still active and we haven't had that promo for like 2 months, it does make me nervous that they are unable to understand how, you know, technically how this thing works. And we as users are always figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really, really crazy that we have to figure it out. Like right here, +10 to power stats, +2 to height. This is not that obvious. It's the other one that's pretty obvious. And for those of you guys that don't know how to get this, you just play the challenges that are in, you know, part of the challenges for the, you know, the most feared. That's pretty much what it is. Right here, like so, and then this one with the scary speed. The only thing that would give this away would probably be that you would see the guy and he'd be a lot smaller. You know, like Randy Moss goes to 6 foot. So they realistically can shrink your players and do all the stuff that I've been saying they were doing for years, because the players change how they play on a weekly basis. And they've been doing this to us for a very, very long time. So I've always just felt that that was going on. Now they're showing us that they can adapt it within the snap of a card. Like, all right, put this in. This is what's going on. The technology of the game has gotten so far that they could do a lot more to make the game a little bit more feasible for us to enjoy it. But that's not the actual goal. All right, so you can see all these things are supposed to disappear on 11.4. I just don't know how it's going to work out, and I'm just letting you guys be aware that these things are available. So if you have it in those specific slots, you will be able to probably go ahead and utilize it, and it's going to create outrage, but most of you guys don't care, because if you were one of those guys that's watching this video, like most of you guys are like, yo, Gmi, I came out with a 19-foot Cam Chancellor, bro. I don't care. I love that about you guys, but that's your choice. I can't do that because I just don't want to be a part of it. It's just really, really wild to just see a gigantic idiot out there running around and being weird, and it's just like, all right, cool. I don't want to do that. So I'm predicting that they're going to have to suspend that strategy slot, or it's going to change the experience in a negative way for a lot of people. I just want you guys to know that it is November 4th, and it's written on the card of when everything will be stopped, so you can enjoy it for another couple days, and then we'll see how it works. But other than that, we have to get ready for the Harvest promo. A lot of you guys have been asking about prospective players. You know, Night Train Lane, we already got the LT. You know, obviously Barry Sanders might be out. So there's a lot of things going on with that, but just beware. I also want you guys to try to finish up your challenges with the most feared, because I think that's very important, you know, getting those cards last minute. Also, one other thing, for you to get that auctionable 90 overall, I only need to do like, what, 3 more things in the most feared objectives. So I have to actually win 15 games with, you know, 15 passing attempts, kick 3 field goals in 25 games, and then we got to rush for 6,000 yards. So that'll be done relatively easy with the CPU. I'll try to get that done. This does expire with the actual promo on November 4th. So everything is going to be pretty much gone around that time. But again, I just know. Let me know what you think. Do you think it'll just go away and EA knows what they're doing as far as taking away these strategy cards? Or do you think it'll linger a little bit? I think the strategy card situation might get a little bit hectic. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. You enjoy your day. One love, y'all.